Harry, at the moment, let's talk about today's story. He's over there, I think it's in Angola, isn't it? He's in Africa. Following in his mother's footsteps.
Again.
Princess Diana, of course, the late, great Diana, you know, whose great cause célèbre was landmines in Africa. There's so many there. People get blown up. They're underneath the ground. Kids lose their legs. It's a terrible situation, don't get me wrong. Diana, he was often going out there, always being photographed. Great work. Here's to her. Now, guess what? Harry is over there now, following in his mum's footsteps, and looking kind of forlorn, to be honest with you. Apparently, we're told he definitely didn't want Meghan to be with him, and she's definitely not with him. He's on his own. Okay, it's a worthy cause, but what's the point of him being there exactly? And Kinsey, do you suspect, like cynical old me, that the reason he's there is he's reminding the world of his close connection to Diana, his mother, a money-spinning connection? This is what they have traded on. He has traded on his mother's memory ever since Megxit, ever since he went to America. Do you suspect the same as me?
Yes, but I think it's money. Yes, at the end of the day, it's all about money, because his lifestyle is incredibly expensive, especially with the security. However, I think this is more about reputation. And Diana has, in her death, sadly, she became a martyr. Americans specifically absolutely adore her. We've talked about this before, but leading up to her death, people were livid that she was running around with Dodi. They were livid that she was running around with the Fayeds. And her death turned her into this angelic character. I think that he is devastated over the reputation he has built for himself since stepping back as a working member of the British royal family, and he's latching on to his mother's memory and legacy, trying to regain any sort of popularity whatsoever. He has lived the high life as, behind the Queen, one of the most popular members of the British royal family, and now he dwells at the bottom next to Prince Andrew. That is hard.
That's true.
That is a really hard adjustment. That's hard to digest. So I imagine that this is more about rehabilitating his image. That's why we're seeing him distance himself from his wife, because together I think people are likely telling the two, you're incredibly toxic. People don't trust you. You're always complaining. And I mean, this is just so lazy, this execution. We see Prince William go build entire shelters for the homeless, inspired by his mother's work, rallying around community leaders to try to create entire strategies around how they can eliminate the homeless crisis in certain areas. Harry just looks at his mom's schedule from 1996 and says, I'm just going to show up at this same thing she did that day and have photographers there to capture it. Be your own person. Expand the Invictus Games, the only solid thing that we are confident in that he does. I just think it looks lazy, and it's a desperate attempt. I know I use this phrase quite often, but it's a desperate attempt to hijack this woman's, the love we have for Princess Diana.
The Diana legacy adds up to cash for Harry and Meghan. But
especially when you're releasing a rosé on her birthday.
Yeah. You were telling me earlier, though, that Harry, you know, specifically didn't want Meghan on this trip to Africa. Talk about that. Why was that?
Well, let me look at that quote again, because remember how I said this quote out loud from the Daily Mail, and you like shivered in my presence. Harry didn't want Meghan there. I mean, it's a very cold quote coming from one of Harry's friends to the Daily Mail. Yes, they're going to say, "Oh, it's safety concerns. You went to Colombia. You know, Nigeria. You know, was it really safety concerns? Ultimately,
Ukraine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ultimately, what this is about is Harry realizing that he looks like a bitter, petty prince, and the same way we've seen Markle push him aside and chase joy through TV shows where she makes fruit platters and loose fruit spread and bath salts.
In the colours of a rainbow.
Yeah,
You know, it's pretty impressive.
Hashtag blessed. I think that we're seeing him try to brand himself away from her as well.
It's interesting that. Let's talk a little bit about this peace deal, or these peace talks. All over the papers over the weekend here in Britain, and it wasn't supposed to be all over the front pages. It was extraordinary, wasn't it? So what we're talking about is this alleged rapprochement summit, a kind of reconciliation summit. Early days, no one was saying it was all but a fait accompli. Early days, but it was a meeting between Harry and Meghan's chief PR, chief of staff, Meredith Maines, and their London PR, a bloke called Liam Maguire, and also the King's chief aide, his top courtier, a guy called Tobias Andre. So they all met at this club, this private members club. So the whole thing was supposed to be Meredith Maines flies in quietly, secretly.
None of us know who she is, but somehow somebody need to take a photo of this.
Well, look, it's supposed to be secret, and suddenly all over the front page of a newspaper in the Mail on Sunday, there's her getting out of the taxi after flying in from California. There are pictures there handily, really conveniently. There's her, Tobias from the Palace, and Liam Maguire sitting outside on a balcony near Green Park in central London, not too far, literally a stone's throw from King Charles's London home, Clarence House. There they are in the sunshine, easily photographed, which indeed they were. In other words, Kinsey, someone tipped off the paper, tipped off the press to every stage of this summit, of this meeting. Now, definitely tipped off, no doubt about that. The next question is, who was it? Now, it wasn't the King, you can rest assured of that, and it wouldn't have been Mr. Andre. It wouldn't have been any of the King's courtiers. They are famously discreet. So who do you think it might have been?
Well, Prince Harry has come out and said it's not, in true Shaggy form, it wasn't me. Although I don't believe him. I don't believe him in this scenario. I think that the only team that has anything to gain from this getting out was Harry and Meghan. But you know that the angle no one has discussed is how pathetic that a family needs, you know, premature talks before any sort of reunion.
Yeah, there is some,
that you have
people
to send
flying across the Atlantic,
professionals on an airplane to discuss your pre-chat. I mean, how bizarre is all of this?
You haven't thought about that.
Grow
You're right.
up, all of you. Grow up. I mean,
so, but someone somewhere, and as you say, I agree with you, someone on the Sussex side of the fence tipped the press off. Now, let's put the case. I kind of agree with you. It was either Harry or Meghan or both of them. It may have had something to do with their PR chief, Meredith Maines. Whoever it was, it's from the Sussex side of the fence, I think we can presume. The idea, I'm assuming, was that if we tip off the press and we put it all over the front page of the papers that we're having peace talks, peace will then happen. Well, quite the reverse. What that did, what turning that allegedly secret meeting into a kind of gossip circus, what that did was ruin any chance of peace, right?
Well, and it's my understanding that it's made things difficult behind palace walls for the King and Prince William, who was blindsided by this meeting and didn't appreciate finding out about it at the same time you and I did in the Daily Mail. You know? So it's created a lot of animosity all over the place. The King feels betrayed. Because obviously he knew that this discussion was happening, and William Obviously, I don't think he would have approved of such a meeting. I don't think he would have
No, I
seen
don't
the
think
value
William wants
in it.
any part of this.
Right. I don't think he would have seen the value in it, and I think he would have advised his father, unless this is personal and everything happens behind closed doors and you just want to have a conversation with your son. But I don't think William wants them anywhere near that family, truly. He recognizes that they're a liability. I think a couple of things could have happened alternatively. Meghan is notoriously a jealous individual. We've seen so many great headlines circulating over the last 2 weeks. Tom Bauer bringing up in his book, Revenge, about how Meghan asked her father to refuse to do the lighting for a school play when she wasn't able to star in the school play. And when he went ahead and did the lighting, she had a screaming match with him and moved out.
Wow.
She was so jealous that she wasn't in this play and that her dad helped light the set. And then, you know, she was ugly to a girlfriend in high school who secured a film role, or who secured a TV show role, because she was mad that it wasn't her.
It wasn't her.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, you and I talked about her issues with alleged, reported issues with Lauren Sanchez. I think she was watching this beautiful buildup of the Wales family over the last week. Prince William, he raised over $1 million for some of his charities through a polo match. This is something we occasionally see Harry try to do in the States, not to the extent that Prince William can execute here. We saw Catherine multiple times, standing ovations at the world's most exciting tennis match, people screaming, "We love you, Kate," as she's walking across the court.
Meghan wouldn't have liked that.
Meghan would never get that. Meghan would never get that.
You're damn straight there.
And I think that maybe she would leak this story to distract from the positive press that the Wales family's had lately.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm wondering whether the actual leak was inspired by Meghan, who actually doesn't particularly like the idea of Harry getting back with his family, because we're hearing reports, of course, that Harry realises in his dimness, even he realises that any chance of rapprochement, of reconciliation with this estranged family will entail
excluding her.
Will entail not including Meghan. Meghan will be cut out of the action. Meghan will not like that. But to go back to the actual breaching of this secrecy, the leaking to the press, this will only heighten the King's suspicions. The King suspects that Harry cannot be trusted with any private details, that he will leak them, that he's not trustworthy around the kind of details that you don't want to be known. So this revealing of this summit in the papers, the King will now be even more untrusting of his son, won't he?
Well, I agree with you. I want to go back to something you just said, though. You talked about Meghan's hostility and her not wanting, her dreading Harry reuniting with his family because she knows she'd be excluded. Do you remember how livid she was when she was purposely excluded from the Sandringham summit? They said, "We don't want her there." She's not allowed via Zoom. She's not allowed over cell phone because we don't trust that she won't secretly record us. So no, it's Harry only. And Meghan Markle is to be totally excluded from this conversation. She went on Netflix and complained about this family making decisions about her life without including her in them. So we know she's very sensitive about feeling rejected by this family and feeling excluded from this family. Of course she doesn't want a reunion for Prince Harry. But I can tell you, as somebody that shares the state with them, this is a lonely man who has very few friends. He's around a bunch of menopausal women who are friends with Meghan Markle that talk about their self-made empires. Truly, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres has moved over here, but that's a former friend. This agent that owns a bookstore over there. Meghan's friend that owns the makeup line. What does Harry have in common with Gayle King, who's gone to space? I mean, I'm serious when I ask that question. Yeah. He's lonely. He misses his family. He misses his friends. He's been cut off from his friends too. And she loves her life because Harry has made all of her dreams come true. Meanwhile, he just has his children, his video games, and hopefully a bowl of you know what.
A few joints, yeah. I mean, so when we think about this, so there he is in Africa, retracing his mother's footsteps. We understand that he was desperate for Meghan not to be there. Meghan, very anxious about his potential plans to make peace with his family, not including her. The whole picture of this, and him actually saying, well, if I am to make peace, Meghan can't be a part of it. I mean, are we getting a picture here of a marriage that is not exactly a portrait of togetherness?
I mean, I don't think it's even. I don't think it's even in a lot of ways. People will slap me on the hand for using the word ambitious when it comes to Meghan Markle, but compared to Prince Harry, I think it's a fair word. I think that they are complete opposites when it comes to ambition and when it comes to even work ethic. I think she's willing to jump out of bed and do things that where Prince Harry would rather roll over and sleep for 5 more minutes. And what is he doing with his life? But also it's this desire and desperation in Meghan's case for attention. She wants paparazzi to take her photo. She wants attention on social media. She wants to utilize her children for attention on social media. Harry wants to put the kids away. He doesn't want us to know what they look like. He doesn't want us to see them on social media. He doesn't want to be on social media. He hates the paparazzi. He used to come out swinging at nightclubs in their direction. He doesn't want to be on reality TV. Meghan's got season 2 on the way. There are so many areas where there's conflict. And I also think that she probably spends a significant amount more than Prince Harry does. Yeah. I don't think that he has the material desires that we've seen that she has. Sure, she's very
materialistic.
Yeah, and so there are a number of things that I think outweigh the positives are the things that they have in common. What they do have in common is that both of their fathers are desperately ill, and they're not talking to either one of them. Why are we only pursuing a reconciliation with one? Because he's the king, because he is the most relevant, because he's the most important, and because they monetize off of their connection to this man. If you really are feeling empathy or compassion for a sick individual, then Meghan, you should pick up your phone and call Thomas Markle too.
Absolutely. And you know, Harry, we hear, has already accepted that if he is to make peace with his relatives here in the British royals here in Britain, she'll have to be no part of it. So Meghan won't be involved in that. But I would say now...
Did I tell you that I heard she's not coming to Invictus 2027?
Yeah, you did. No, you said that today, but go on.
Yeah, I mean, there are reports.
Well, look, because
you've said this 1,000 times. She will never step foot back in this country.
That's why it'll be, because it's in Britain. She won't. I don't think she'll ever come back. But you were saying earlier that what you're hearing is indeed she won't come to the Invictus Games in 27. She don't want to come here. She knows everybody doesn't like her much in this country, and the British royals cannot stand the sight of her. But even his slim chance, old Harry, of making a peace deal with his family without Meghan, I think have now been completely ruined by this revealing of the peace talks in the newspapers. But also, let's not forget that any peace deal, I think, is very, very unlikely to involve William. Now, the King Charles, is a famously soft-hearted guy. He hates conflict, you know, and he would like nothing more than to sort of bury the hatchet for everything to be cool again. That said, he doesn't trust Harry anymore, so that makes a problem with their relationship. That's why he doesn't talk to him. But the King maybe could be talked around. I tell you who will never be talked around, who will never forgive him, doesn't want to know about any talk of reconciliation. That's William and Kate. They will never forgive Harry and Meghan for what they've done.
Well, I mean, imagine being Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and something's wrong in your body. You're going to doctors. You've recognized that something is not right. They are doing tests on you. And as this is going on privately behind closed doors, you're trying to keep it a secret, not only from the public, but from your 3 children that you want to protect. somebody has leaked to Omid Scobie that you were the royal racist, and he's included it in the Dutch version of Endgame. I mean, I know one of the things that I think we should acknowledge, we talk because we're very much in the moment, and we're talking about the current players, Prince William, Princess of Wales, the King, but our viewers that we love dearly, what they will not ever forgive these two for is their behavior in the last few weeks and months of the Queen's life. And Prince
the
Philip,
late Queen, of course.
and Prince Philip, basically on his deathbed, while they are recording the Oprah Winfrey interview, where they originally accused someone in the royal family of racism. I think that you're absolutely right. Prince William and Catherine are protecting themselves, and they're protecting their family, and Harry is a liability, but he also, the stress he causes them to be, I mean, there's scientific proof that that stress can make you sick. You know, they're keeping their distance to protect their peace. And I totally support that. And I know it makes me look very small, but I would be incredibly disappointed in the royal family if they did invite these two back. I would feel a sense of betrayal after defending them for so many years over this chaos. But really quickly, I want to tell you, Tom Bauer told me.
I saw Tom today.
Yeah, he was here with me.
Yeah, was that what it was?
Yeah. And, I had a date with Tom Bauer.
And Robert.
Yep, Rob Job. And so Tom Bauer told me today that in his book, about King Charles, Rebel King, that he realized that Charles can be incredibly ruthless and burn bridges and doesn't like.
Interesting.
So when I was saying, you know, I think the king has a soft heart, Bauer was like, okay, maybe because it's his son, but with anybody else, this guy will cut you off at the knees.
Yeah,
he has no patience for that.
And he certainly reached the point with Prince Harry. Well, we know he doesn't talk to him because he doesn't trust him anymore.
Yeah, Harry told us that. He doesn't take my calls.
He doesn't talk to me anymore. So we know that. But the point is, he's definitely a softer-hearted guy than William, and I don't say that in a detrimental way. Good for William. When you said that you don't want the royal family to forgive Harry and Meghan, you could be speaking for millions of British people. We don't want the royal family to forgive them either, because they don't deserve to be forgiven. If Harry cuts ties with Meghan, a process could perhaps begin, but it would involve a lot of apologising, and I don't think he's got that in his soul.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
I'd like just your opinion on if the king were to forgive Harry, what message does it send not only to working members of the royal family who have focused on duty and loyalty, what message does it send to the British public if he allows Harry and Meghan to come back into the fold when they have taken zero accountability for their bad behavior? I think that it's a sign of weakness, and that's not what you want from a leader. I
think you're exactly right, and as I say, millions of Brits feel the same. We're sad about Harry. We used to love him when he was a Jack the Lad about town, drinking and hanging out with the ladies. We thought he was great fun, and he seemed like a nice guy. He's turned into this miserable, paranoid lunatic, lashing out at a world that he clearly can't stand. He seems to be angry with everything and everybody, and of course, in other words, he has changed dramatically. So who do we blame for that? Oh, I just don't know. Oh, I know, it's Meghan Markle. Seriously, she's ruined that guy.
It's devastating to see, and I also feel like if the king were to give them an inch, it would justify their behavior, and they would continue down the same path. There has to be consequences for their actions.
I agree with you.
They keep their titles.
Yeah.
They get to, and I think that's insane. So the least that they can do is...
William will take them away. William will definitely take it away from the kids. Yeah. William, I mean, I'm not saying this, in a bad way about William. I admire him for this. He's a strong willed soul, and he's not going to take this. He will not take the way his wife was treated by Meghan. He will not take what Harry has done to the royal family since he's been in America. He will not forgive. He doesn't want to forgive, and in that The British people back him, you back him, and I back him. Good for you, William. King Charles, Your Majesty, carry on not talking to him. Teach him a lesson. Kinsey, fantastic to see you. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a special session of Recollections May Vary, your brilliant podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I'll look forward to that. In the meantime, Kinsey Schofield in the studio, folks. Isn't that amazing?